We got 2 seats open as of right now.
We have 2 alternates. I move that we seat the 2 alternates for the 2 instruments.
We should probably seat one for one person, and one for the other in case somebody comes late.
Yes, yes, right.
So give me some names
Seat somebody for Cheryl.
now.
Or maybe not.
No. Yes. All right, for Cheryl, about Bob.
Okay.
I'll second that.
Bob seated for who?
Cheryl.
Okay. And who else is missing?
It's a new member.
The new member.
Right.
So we need to seat somebody
Chris
for the new
Alexi?
member.
Yeah. All right.
Chris, that's right, Chris.
How about Joanne Nesby?
Chris.
Alexi.
So that's one
So
motion.
he's been named.
Yes.
So that's one motion for both?
No,
No, we
do
didn't.
one at a time, so let's vote on the first one.
Okay.
Okay.
So Bob for Cheryl,
Right.
that was seconded.
I'll second
Okay. All in favor?
it.
And then on the second one, I made the motion, and is there a
I'll second it, sure.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? This is, we use carefully as it should have, because we could do election of officers last week. All right. Ordinance.
I read them, and they look good to me. I'll make a motion to approve them.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Public communications. I have a pile here. So I do have a task force status report to December 31, showing that the calculation being at 63% collected versus 59 last year. I guess a $1 million escrow came in early by December 31, so that's the reason for the increase. We have the annual report. This will talk about the town meeting part of it. So that we can take a look at that before the meeting. And then we have the audit reports, which will lead to the auditors to talk to at the next meeting. So everybody can take them home, read them, make notes. All right, public input, comments?
Public comments?
Public comments.
Oh, just a general question. What happens to any excess money at the end of the year? Does it go into a rainy day fund, or how is it used?
Well, this is public comments.
The public comments.
Right.
We're talking about finances, right?
Right, so if you have a comment, we're not answering questions, this is part of the meeting.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't know exactly how it worked.
And would you give us your name, please?
My name is Stanley Kurzinski.
Thank you, Stanley.
You're welcome.
And Marge Bold.
Hi, Marge.
Okay. So in general, I guess, what was your question again? Well,
I'm just wondering what happens to any excess money at the end of the year from the budget, where it goes. Like if this year, if we don't get any snow and you throw snow plowing, where does that money go?
it just, the town still has that money, it goes into
A rainy day fund?
balance, or, right, that's one, a general term for it, correct.
So it doesn't just get spent up, or like they use a lot of philosophy these days of use it or lose it.
anything that's left over spent, any additional spending would have to go through appropriation process.
Okay, thank you, I just wanted to have clarifying.
Okay.
You're promising there's gonna be no snow for the rest of the winter?
No, it's probably not gonna happen, but, I'm pretty sure you're not gonna get much this year.
Yeah, we're hoping.
Okay, finance.
We distributed the reports. There's a couple of items that we might address. I'll try and zero on the ones that I considered informational. I think the last time we spoke about on page, it's fire department, fire protection. We did speak about the truck maintenance, and it was over budget, but we talked to them, and unfortunately, there are things that need to get done. But they do have a line emergency truck repair, so there's a wash at this point. They don't anticipate it anymore, but one never knows what's going to occur. We have in the building department, which is budget number, well, department number 240. Contractual services, and the reason that is over budget is because the building inspector was going to retire, and in doing so, he took his vacation time and sick time. So a temporary building inspector had to cover, so that is the reason why that one is in the state it's in. But that should be pretty much cleared up now because, well, not really, we don't know where we are, but when we get a inspector online, we should be better. There's under solid waste disposal, there's an overage in the maintenance of site, but we have a couple of things that we're looking at there that we're going to reclassify, so that will be corrected. Same thing with.
Which line was that, Mark?
That's under the landfill, the solid waste disposal.
It's,
And it's,
Page 12, yeah, okay. Which,
it's the last item.
the last item,
Yeah, the
okay.
181.13.
Yeah.
And again, that's, I mean, but as I said, there's, we're gonna reclassify a couple of things in there, so that will take care of that issue.
And how about the household hazardous waste collection? I'm not sure, that seems that there's not much money remaining in that.
Right, and usually the last, I don't know where we stand with whether we're having it here or we have it in combination with another town and they just take our, I'm not really sure how that works. And depending upon when, did we have, well, the hazardous waste here in town at one point earlier in the year, do you know?
I'm not sure.
Okay, I'll look into that. There may not be, it depends what the schedule is, I'll have to take a look at it, but I'll let you
Can
know.
you do it, from what I understand, in different towns?
Correct.
So the schedule hasn't been given out for what's gonna happen for 2016.
Okay,
I can get that for you though.
okay,
I should have that at the next meeting.
okay. As you can see, the tree removal is over budget as well. We really don't have much control. If there's safety issues, things have to be taken care of. And I can look further into that, but it's difficult to determine what we're going to do. That may even get worse depending upon what the season's going to bring. If we don't have much snow, it may not be too bad. If we do, then we may run into some problems again. I know last year it was over quite a lot because of the experience we had with the winter last year.
And these are emergency related tree removals?
Yes, well, there are some that are emergency and some that, depending upon where it is, if it's leaning over the road, it may not be an emergency situation, but it has to be addressed. And I'm sure that they're very much aware that, to make sure that it doesn't end up in the road.
I was just gonna say, just yesterday, there were 2 of those, so.
2 of those, right. And I think as far as the expenditure side, that's it, unless there's any questions someone has.
How about the land use office, the EO and WEO? It looks as though halfway through the year, it's not very much down, but is there a reason for them not having half of their money left?
That there's money in there that hasn't been spent.
Well, I just figured that the balance remaining should equal the current year expenditures at this point. And it doesn't seem, it looks as though it's just a little low, I just wondered.
What line are you?
Oh, I'm sorry, 125?
Okay, and the line number, or the whole budget, is what you
No,
said?
just the ZEO, WEO, I assume that's one person.
Yes, yes. So there's 14, it's a little more than halfway, halfway used. And we've been, of course, the busy season won't come until spring when things, they can go out and do their inspections and zoning enforcement. So I can certainly look at that or ask the question of the planner.
I just noted it earlier, that's
Yeah.
Looking at the line items, I do a lot like Lawrence does, we're just slightly over halfway through the year, so I figure we should probably have 45% or so left. I noticed the assistant tax collector's money is all there, and that's because we don't have an assistant right now. What's, for either one of you, what's the plan there, what's status?
Job description was just given to me. Kristen didn't want to go through the hiring process right now because it's just too difficult to be collecting taxes right now and worrying about bringing somebody in and training someone. So once tax season is over, the job will go out, be posted, and we'll look to replace.
And how about the dispatch services for Valley Shore?
That one is,
That,
you're really quick.
So, which,
That's,
so 230 on page
right there.
10.
so Colchester Emergency is now defunct. We had to write a letter to get out, that's KX, they went bankrupt, or out of business. So that's gonna continue to stop, and then Valley Shore is gonna pick up where they left off, but there was a contracting agreement due to them to pay them through a certain time, so we stayed with that for the service.
Being halfway through the year, the 43,000 total cover,
I believe so.
what you'll be billed
Mhm.
for the remainder of the year.
You're welcome. I actually have a call into Valley Shore, so I've not gotten a call back. If it's different, I will.
It looks like
Let you know.
they've expended 2/3 of the budget, I mean, there's 88,900 out of
Yeah.
118,000.
Are there any leftover costs from the referendum, the school district referendum?
Did we have costs?
Yeah.
Well, that's a question that I asked as well, and because I did get an email from someone asking me about it, I haven't had a chance to talk to Liz about it. I believe that we paid for that referendum. However, we had a discussion today as to whether, and that's why I didn't have a chance to talk to Liz, if we were going to bill the Board of Ed for that. That's for the improvement.
For
That's
the,
for
yeah,
the
for the
bonding.
school, for the
Yeah,
bonding.
So my question, that's my question. Do we turn around and bill them and get the reimbursement? Because it's an improvement project for the district, it's not budgetarily ours, but I think we'll have to have a discussion. I don't know how that's gonna fare, and we'll let you know.
Well, at least you'll know for the next referendum, so that'll be good.
Right, and if we need to, we may have to get, we end up having to pay for it. I don't know what the semantics are at the moment, but we did, that wasn't on my, in fact, I had it all detailed on my desk and I didn't bring it with me.
Do we know what Killingworth is doing?
Pardon me?
Do we talk to Killingworth, they would have the same,
That is what we were going to, in my opinion, I would talk to them first to see exactly where we stand with that and what they feel. Because I think we should, whatever we do, we should do it in them.
right, okay. Any other questions or comments on the reports, financial reports?
Oh, one thing, I guess, just out of curiosity, there are several groups, community, well, it's not community.
Right,
Well, I'm trying to find it.
Community
It's where we-
organizations and,
Well, it's where we give money to, here it is, community organizations,
yeah.
Page 14.
page 14. When do they receive that money and do they know it's coming? Or do they have to
They
ask?
request it, and it was put in the budget, but we don't pay it until they give us an invoice. So, in my opinion, and what we've done, what I used to do is just send them a note to say that there was funding available, that you had requested, it was approved, and you need to give us a request to make the payment, because we don't do it without the request.
So I just wondered if there was a mechanism for that to happen.
There isn't anything established at this point, so I think we will establish something as a protocol to let them know. I mean, they should know because they did the request, but maybe they don't know they have to physically send us an invoice.
Well, the Historical Society doesn't wait, they get right
They
in.
get it right in.
On July 2nd.
Thank you.
But there are these others that haven't billed yet, evidently.
Yeah.
Because the historical society's been around. I don't know.
They know how it works.
So probably next time that they won't be there.
Make it easier.
All right, any other questions on that? Selectmen's requests?
I can pass these out.
Sure.
It does need report. Did they pour that cement in cold weather? I don't know.
We're not talking about that. Okay, everybody have a copy? All right, so for history, there was a water issue with icing and damming where the roofs come together for the firehouse, and it was actually insurance paid for, and it was fixed. The problem is that the actual issue that caused this wasn't fixed. So they fixed it, and guess what? It happened again. So Kerma's been out, has looked at the issue, and the insurance will cover the problem, the results of what happened from the water. But because it was poor workmanship, when the building was built, they will not cover the expense of that. So I received a price from the contractor that we're working with to do the improvements. And to fix that issue is going to roughly cost, and I do have an estimate for it, $5,841. So I would like to have them, and we have the money in building and maintenance, although that fund is running low, which is why I'm bringing it to your attention. I would like to use that money and have that repair done so that they can continue to fix it, and therefore, once we have it fixed, it won't happen again. Now, the last time that this occurred, there was not any damage to the actual roof. This time, though, when they came back to look at it, we have actual damage to the roof, and whether that was done due to getting snow off the roof or some type of snow removal, there were issues on the shingles of the roof. So, the firehouse, and I'm not good at art, the bay area all the way over, so I would tell you the entrance where you walk into for the registrars into the community part is not where any of the damage occurred. So that roof and that is staying how it is. However, from this point of the building across and all the way over where the bays are, even though the problem did not occur of water leakage where the bays are, the insurance allows for a replacement of a roof if there are continuous lines. So therefore, the insurance company is willing to pay for a brand new roof for us to go on the firehouse, which isn't a bad thing. But the work has to be obviously fixed for that water issue, so there's that. On the back of the firehouse where the handicap ramp is, there's a window that was put there, and for whatever reason, you can see through, you can actually poke your finger through. And that has been an issue for a long time. So again, because of the way the roof is and it's not continued, the water has just been dripping down and pouring down all the walls. So that interior work, again, to fix the water damage will be covered by insurance. Again, back to faulty construction, because it wasn't continued for the roof and there wasn't a gutter run, that part has to be fixed. So the estimate to have that done, so the question becomes, do we put in a new window and just replace it, or do we pull the window out and we close it up? The window that is in there is not an approved window. It's not a safety window, so if it were to break, it would shatter and it would be a problem. The firemen are in agreement to just close it up. There's really no reason to have it be a window. We're not breaking any rules with exits for fire or anything. So the most economical way would be to just close that space up, continue the roof line, and have them repair that. That's going to cost another approximately $6,000. So now I have a $5,000 deductible that I have to cover for the insurance company, which we have in the budget. But now I have expenses close to $12,000. I'm estimating up a little, but that's a very good number to do those repairs to the fire department. So the question becomes, there's not a lot of money in the line item. How am I going to take care of paying for those repairs? So, the firemen, we went to a town meeting and we approved in the capital non-reoccurring that the fire department was going to have ceilings done, paving of the station. They had that project completed and it came in under budget and the work has been done and there's a little over $11,000 remaining in that line item. So my question to the board or request is to be able to utilize those funds. I'll have to go to a board of selectmen meeting and town meeting. To be able to use those funds at $11,383 to cover the expenses that I need to have done to the roof to ensure that this problem doesn't happen again.
Okay.
That's what I'm asking.
So 11,383 is on page 2 of the capital plan?
Yes,
And it's line 216?
yes.
Okay. And then in the regular expenditure, though, their line of building and property, that wouldn't have any...
No, it comes out of our town building and property fund.
Mhm.
Process.
And in that fund, there is,
That bucket. And we know
Well, I'm looking at the-
Big bucket.
The 10-8 that remains.
We're gonna move it out of that bucket.
yeah, okay, so
Two steps.
in the current expenditures,
Mhm.
Julian, there's a number for about $2,001, do you see that?
They don't get the
No,
details,
they don't get that,
so
okay, so what do they see?
they basically see this.
Okay, so there's remaining 880797,
Which account are you in there?
maintenance of town property,
Department 090.
090.
Okay, I was in fire protection, so.
Sorry.
Yeah, I was-
Yeah, any repairs to the town buildings
Yeah.
come out of that
Okay.
fund. And to date, there's only $8,800 left in that, which is not a lot of money
Oh, I
to
see
give
now.
me
The 8807.
the rest of the year for emergencies and other things that are gonna come up. So,
So they had the paving project and it didn't spend all of its.
correct,
Oh, that's not-
It's done, all the
it is
bills went out,
completely done,
it's-
yes. I just figured it made the most sense for a request to where the dollars come from. It's ultimately up to you how you wanna do it. I have the money to cover the deductible, so that's not a problem.
One dumb question. Really isn't a
It's
problem,
okay,
but I'll
Harlan.
ask it anyway. Covering up the window.
Yes,
I just, we spent a lot of money on some architect to design a building
Yes.
to look like with
Yes.
a window.
yes,
Sometimes the cheap way out is to paste over the window.
yes,
And then for the next 20 years, we're looking at this homely thing to save $1,000 or something.
correct.
Is that the case here, or is this really in a place and location that
There's,
it's gonna look just fine without a window?
I really think, honestly, and any, you're more than welcome to go look, I think it'll be fine. It's not gonna take away from the architectural design of the building. They questioned why there was even a window there to begin with. And I just think it's the way the building jutted in. It's well lit, so I don't think it'll affect the daylight that'll come in.
Okay.
And it's,
Okay,
you know,
yep, fine.
it's like in a little cove in the back of the building.
And so, we know, and so we've got extra money, so we know we got enough money to do this without
Yes.
having to go raid any other,
Right. I mean-
contingency or anything else, so how do we get,
I could raid the town maintenance property,
no,
but
you
there
got,
would be nothing left.
no, this is a fine way to do it. My question to Joe is, how do we get the right money in the right buckets to get it done?
Well, conceptually, since the project is done and they confirmed it's done, it would be an unallocated line in CNR.
Yep.
Then we would need to approve to take the money out of that line for this particular project. And then that would need to go to town meeting for approval. So
Which I'm happy
let's
to
start
do.
here.
Okay. So we need a motion to,
And then we just need the unallocated piece just happens naturally, so I don't think there's a motion for that. So just an appropriation of $12,000 to do this maintenance on the firehouse with the source of the money being unallocated capital non-recurring funds, and then sending that to town meeting.
so move.
But do you think at the same time, go to town meeting, take the 11,383 and bring it into the unallocated?
I
Do you
don't,
need to go through that
I don't think
process?
that needs
or
to
can
be
we
a
just
town
do-
meeting.
Oh,
If the
okay.
project's complete, then that's,
It
We can
moves
just bring it back in.
It
Okay,
would-
as long as that, we didn't know if we could go ahead and do that or, which we can do, we'll do.
right,
If
it's
you're
just,
saying we don't need anything, that's fine, we'll just take it, bring it into the unapproved, then your town meeting is going to approve a new line for the 12,000.
a new line, right,
Mhm.
so it's
Take it out of it.
controlled like every
Okay.
other project,
Right.
whatever
Mhm.
amount.
Okay, good.
Okay.
So the motion is to move the 11,383 to, no,
No, he said we didn't need to do that.
The 11,383 just
Oh,
fell
not
into
it.
unallocated, so we know there's money there.
oh, it has fallen in to that
Right.
already? Okay, because
Because it was left over.
right. So the next time we see this report, that line will basically not be there. Would that be fair to say? Okay. And it will have moved to unallocated CMR.
Right, which is a line in here
Yeah.
also, so that we maintain a budget that balances.
Okay.
And then 12,000 will come out, and then we'll have a new line for firehouse repairs. That's the part we need to approve and go to town meeting on, is the spending.
Got it. Okay.
And we're getting a brand new roof from it, so.
I'll second the motion.
Any other discussion?
Just to be crystal clear, the unallocated right now is 76,621, was that fair to say? And that amount will be reduced by 12,000 once we approve this motion.
Correct.
Okay. And then the
It
12,000,
increased by 11.
First this month.
Yeah, it'll actually,
yes, it'll go in and then come out.
Yeah,
Got it. Then what happens to the 12,000? Is it moved to another line?
That's the line that's gonna get approved. It's actually a new project line,
Got it.
as long as the town meeting approves it, and then we'll set that up.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
And you're relatively confident that that's what the whole project's gonna do?
They've been in there, there's been engineers, they've gotten bids, the engineer's been in there, the insurance company's been in there. I mean, obviously, if something else crazy happens for the construction. I think it's sad that that building is pretty new and there's issues, but I can understand why, how the roofs come together and the leaking and that, but that's why I want the problem fixed. I mean, there's another piece to look to put wiring up to prevent some icing. The quote I got on that was $30,000. I think it was very high, so we could look at other options for that if the need arises. But to fix, I mean, it doesn't make sense to just keep repairing the sheetrock and the roof, and then it leaks all over again and there's water all over the place.
We've already replaced major things in the HVAC system, we've replaced the water heaters.
Well, the only other good thing is if we do put that new roof on, you know, if we look to put solar panels and to cut down on some expenses, it's a new roof. So, you know, the thought of maybe putting solar panels up would be great because we don't have to worry about that. So, it could be a win-win.
They had to open up that roof when they did one of those HVAC repairs. Did they bring a big piece of equipment and they had to? I seem to remember something, one of the repairs that
We've done a lot to that.
I know.
New building.
Would this have been worse if it hadn't been a mild winter so far?
It's happened a couple of times, Joanne. Yeah, it would be. I mean, it's been exposed for a while. So, you know, and that's the other thing, energy efficiency, just it's cold in there, it's drafty. And honestly, if you go in and look at that window, you can see to the outside. It's, actually may even have a picture on my phone.
it's okay.
Oh, I believe it.
No.
It'll just make it feel cold.
Yes,
I
yes.
think Harlan's ready to vote.
Aye.
Told you.
Final discussion, or?
Right, white question.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
And then, one more thing, really quick.
Right,
Okay.
you're up next anyway, so
All right.
whatever else you have.
I don't want to jump around. Just as an FYI, we received a grant from Eversource. It's a bright idea grant. I can't remember the name, I apologize, it's been a busy day. Of $5,000 that we can use towards energy efficiency, we can use it on a town building. So at the Board of Selectmen meeting on Wednesday, there was a letter that was read, and it's been an issue that there's a lot of lights out that are in the parking lot of the fire department. And it's very difficult to see. There's curbs and you can't see, and I'm afraid it's a safety hazard, and it's really, really dark. So we need, there's 18 lights altogether in that parking lot. So I got a bid from a local contractor who has a bucket truck to replace those, to switch them over to LED, which would be more energy efficient and would also take care of the problem of the broken lights. From what I understand, this just keeps occurring. So the cost to do the entire parking lot is $3,600. We have a grant, we have the cash to do it from Eversource of $5,000. So what I'm going to do is just use that $5,000 to the 3,600 to cover that. In addition, an audit was done for that building, and it was one of the recommendations to take care of. So I kind of feel like I'm getting to cross something off a list and take care of it. So I'd like to have the contractor come in, order the parts, and I'll coordinate it. It's not money that's coming out of a budget for the town, but I just want you to be aware that that financial transaction is going to be taking place. And the Energy Committee has agreed that that's a good place to use it, so that's what I'm gonna proceed with.
And just since you mentioned lights at night, going from the upper parking lot to the lower parking lot, that curve is dark and black.
Very dark.
I would suggest painting it yellow or whatever they've done down below,
Mhm.
it's very much.
I agree with you. It's very difficult to see, and you're going to take a step you can't see.
Are the lights being vandalized? Is
Yeah,
that?
I was gonna say, is it vandalism?
No,
or
they're
is it
up
just-
really high. No,
They just fail.
failing. And, you know, I mean, switching over to be more energy efficient to
But I
LED.
mean, is this just periodic maintenance to replace a
I'm hoping not.
bulb? Oh.
I mean, it should be, to be honest with you, lasting longer.
Hmm.
It should definitely be lasting longer. So my thought was, you know, there's 8 of them are out right now, so it would be $1,600 to fix it. Then you're gonna have that funky look between LED and other lighting. And since we have the money to do it from that grant, why not just know it's done, it's fixed? Hopefully it'll all work, it'll be more efficient, and it'll just be done.
Do we have to do anything about the grant? Accept it or any of that?
It's,
Well, they sent the money, it's just
Yeah.
not part of it, right? I guess
Right.
it's a result of that audit, or getting that audit done, or, but somehow,
it's funds, yeah, that came from Eversource that are available, and I have to dig a little bit more on the history.
right, but we didn't really
How?
apply for it, or?
We didn't apply for it, and that's why I just want to know, if I'm spending it, I don't want anyone to think that we have to spend that, the town has to come up with X, and the grant's covered by that. So even though it isn't an expenditure for the town,
Mhm.
I figure to have the communication so that you're aware of what's going on and how it's being fixed, and not pulling it out of the line item is much better to have that conversation than to not let you know what's going on.
Yeah, it was just a procedural
Yeah.
question, I didn't know if we
Yeah.
had to do.
No, and that was my only reason for bringing it forward tonight. There's other credits that we have and other things, and we're deciphering on how to use all of those, but this is an urgent, to me, it's a safety issue, and I would like to get it done sooner than later, so. We contacted the contractor, took a day or two to get the quote in. I thought the quote came in very reasonable, you know, because you have to use a bucket truck and go up, they're gonna replace the lighting inside, switch everything out, so. And I'll probably, you know, if I give him the okay, which I will in the morning, it'll probably take a week or so to get the parts in, and then he'll get it done. Okay? I don't think I have anything else. I think that's enough.
Alright. Old business?
I don't know if this is or not, but can I ask about Chatham Health,
Sure.
I know we decided to leave them, but
Yeah.
in the interim now, you have 6 months.
Yes.
And what is happening or what could
So I'm
happen?
in the process of putting a committee together of experts to look at that. I have some good qualified candidates. We are in the process of getting a list of all the things that need to be done, to be covered. I have another follow-up meeting with Candy Cassell to find out what services she's been providing and put resources out there. And we've actually, believe it or not, have had some qualified candidates come forward that are interested, so that's
In a part-time?
encouraging, part-time, so it's very encouraging.
So in the 6 months, they're still doing all the things that they,
Yes,
Used
yes,
to
and
be.
I spoke to the acting director, Don Mitchell, and they're doing everything that they need to do. So I do have another board meeting in a couple weeks, but it's been, I mean, there's a couple issues that have been going on that the town is not involved with. So they're working that out between Chatham Health and DPH with some business owners. But as far as the town's concerned, it's not a town matter right now. So,
and the 6 months is up At the end of June?
June 30th. And I'm hoping to have a decision made, you know, April would be great. I don't want to run out of time, which is why I started working on this and putting a committee together. But it's seeming like things are falling into place.
So
I
it's,
gotta knock on something though, because you know Murphy's Law.
well, I mean, it's conceivable though that you'd have to hire some new personnel,
Yes,
right?
yes, yes. And you can have a sanitarian, you need a public health director. In some towns, it's been the same individual. I would prefer to, if we could have 2 part-time individuals, just because I believe it's a little bit more of a check and balance than having it be just one individual. And again, the committee's gonna be in charge of lining some of those things up, but the people that have been coming forward, we've gotten, you know, some interest, maybe through the grapevine, nothing formal, because the job wouldn't take place until July 1st, but it's been very encouraging.
Thank you.
Anything else under new, I mean old? All right, new business, we have, somewhere we have a town meeting notice to present, right, present the annual report.
Is there a date when we usually do that?
That will be,
Third Tuesday,
Sorry?
the third Tuesday of January, the 19th. Will be 7 PM, but I think it's at the fire, at the Old Town Hall. I haven't seen the,
The legal notice went out on Monday, no, that's today.
so it's 21,
Sorry, they all went together.
21 Field Park Drive, that's the old town hall. Anything else? Anyone have anything else on the new business? No? All right, public comment?
Just a couple. One, I think you guys have done a great job last 2 years. And, keep it up. And, I don't know if it's a legal issue or whatever, but maybe some minor repairs like that window you're talking about, instead of going all out and hiring some expensive outfit to do it, maybe ask somebody from the town that might volunteer his time to do it, or, a lot of people like to help out, I mean, you don't have to, but I don't know if it's a legal issue or not in that aspect.
And this sounds like a significant project.
It's an $80,000 project.
Blocking a window?
No.
Oh, I'm sorry.
All of the repairs.
Oh, and one other little comment is, you were talking about the new firehouse? The roof already? I mean, roofs should get at least 30 years out of them before they start leaking. Is there any warranty or anything on those?
But you, I don't know if you want me to talk about.
Yeah, I think you can ask or send Liz an email on that. I'm sure she has that information.
Oh, okay, I'm just curious. I mean, a new firehouse with all these problems already? Jeez, it's not that.
And we have a problem and we're fixing it, so how it occurred is really kind of not really relevant right this
I
minute.
can answer you at the end of the meeting.
Okay.
Any others?
Motion to adjourn.
I'm gonna vote
Is this public comment?
I did.
We do have a football game tonight, a very important football game.
Yeah.
Cold tonight.
Alabama, Clemson.
All right. Second?
Was there a second?
We'll all second that one.
All right. Meeting adjourned.